when she was the darling of the gymnastics world. Mary Lou Retton is now with Peter Vidmar. Let's find out up close what's happening in the life of Mary Lou. Let's go to Peter.
Mary Lou, you're back at the scene of the crime and you got another standing ovation. How did it feel?
It felt wonderful, Peter. I think, as you know, it brings back memories of 4 years ago, which seems just like yesterday to me.
Oh, it sure does. I have to thank you. I was sitting next to Linda Evans when you landed that vault and scored a perfect 10, so it made it just that much more enjoyable. Now, I want you to, we want to know, what have you been doing as of recent? Because, of course, everybody has seen you with the commercials and all the other activities. What are your plans right now for the immediate future? Right
now, I'm really concentrating on my broadcasting. I'm going to be commentating the Olympics for NBC. In fact, just returned from Seoul just yesterday. I went over, did some publicity there, and really looked at all the Olympic venues. Everything is looking wonderful for the Games.
How would you assess USA Gymnastics right now, both the men and especially the women?
I really feel that we have relatively young teams right now. I think we're on the road to a good, upstanding performance at the Olympic Games. We had a little downfall at World Championships, but I think that really put us in our spot, and we're working hard right now.
Well, Mary Lou, you've done so much for USA Gymnastics, more than I think you'll ever realize, and everybody wishes you all the best in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tom?
All right, thank you. Peter Vidmar visiting with Mary Lou Retton, and we'll be back with more of this gymnastics summit from Pauley Pavilion. But first, we'll pause for this important message. Telecast is Peter Vidmar, and Peter is presently, or in a moment or two, will be introduced to the crowd here at Pauley Pavilion. He is, of course, the captain of the '84 gymnastics team, gold medal winner.
Kelly with our Prime Ticket Network coverage of our announced position, the great
Peter
Vidmar.
There's Peter. Stands, waves to the crowd. Across the way, Dick Enberg.
Our show continues
waving at Peter.
A recent high school graduate. Our next
Wave at Dick Enberg, Peter. There he is.
I see him. There he is.
enjoys listening to music and ice cream, too. She's a consistent power on the Soviet national team for the past 3 years.
We continue with the competition.
Our show, the beautiful
And we start with Natalia Polova. There's Dick Enberg. And Bart Connor next to him. You saw Natalia earlier doing a routine on the balance beam, and now here she is with a floor exercise.
I'll listen to this music.
Yeah?
Dragnet. Here's a round-off back handspring, full twisting double backflip. Very powerful gymnast.
She's 17 and even 5 feet and 90 pounds of dynamite.
Now, this is a little different. This is not as balletic as some of the other gymnasts from the Soviet Union. The music's different, the beat's different, so as a result, she performs it a lot differently, much more jazz. Oh, she threw a triple twist and landed on her side. That's potentially a dangerous landing, but she seems fine.
She has one of her ankles wrapped, the other one not, and the one she landed wrong on was the unwrapped one a moment ago.
Yeah, it's sometimes that wrap, she has basically a very tight elastic bandage, which really does very little in terms of support, but it's kind of a psychological thing. Setting up for her final tumbling pass. A round-off back handspring, double back, little step forward.
And a dramatic finish to it all. A floor exercise, Natalia Polova from the Soviet Union.
Let's see this little slip on that second tumbling pass. She does a round-off, back handspring, whip over, back handspring, and then she tries a layout with 3 twists. And she comes around that third twist and lands just right on her side. She didn't even come close to making it, and that's why she stumbled.
And now the introduction of Don Peters, the Olympic coach for 1988.
Don coached the team to the silver medal back in '84.
And we go to the uneven bars now, and the appearance of Do Yamashiro. She's from Torrance, California. 5'2", 18-year-old gymnast, 105 pounds. And she's been in gymnastics for the past 4 years.
And she trains under Don at the Scats Gymnastics Club, where Don, of course, is the head coach. She's very powerful in the uneven bars. Now look at Dawn standing there, ready to catch her if something should ever happen. That's a front flip. She catches it fine. Right over to the low bar. Straddle up. Kip to handstand. Here's where the similar skills that you can see in horizontal bar. There's a Tkachev, the reverse heck. Giant. Double back salto. Step forward, but it was a very good and powerful routine.
Very nice routine. Do Yamashiro from Torrance, California. Second all-round in the American Classic.
Take a look at that dismount. She does a double back salto. Giant, and here, she under-rotates a little bit, opens up just a little bit too soon. If she would have kept her knees in, she'd be a little bit more even, but she took that step. It's still a good dismount.
So from Do Yamashiro, Paulette Huntanova. A change of 2-2.
No, I noticed a change in Paulette, though. Paulette has shaved her mustache.
May have to shave her chest if she's going to continue. Strikes a pose and goes to the balance beam. This is, of course, Paul Hunt, whose gymnastic routines are beautiful.
Here we go.
With trepidation, he climbed aboard the balance beam. And his tutu has a smile for everybody.
He used to have one that said Mom on it, but when he kicked up to a handstand, it said Wow.
Oh! Don't hurt yourself, Paulette.
You know, it's a comedy routine, but his gymnastics is really pretty good here.
It's tremendous. When you think of how hard he has to work to look bad, it's amazing, and he's magnificent.
That's a very good handstand. A little stuck there, though. Well, even the Soviets are like this.
That's tremendous.
Look at him, he's chewing gum.
Sure. I love the ribbon in the hair. Beautiful. Paulette Huntanova, better known as Paul Hunt.
See, now he's Huntanova for the sake of this competition. When we compete with the Romanians, he becomes Pauletta Huntaskew. So we just changed the name. This is a serious gymnastics skill. And he made it.
And he bowed.
Made famous by Olga Corbett. Now look at, he stubbed his toe though, so he's got to be a little careful when he walks. They got to put that foot there in the beam to stand up. Oh, he's a little bit too far off to the side though. Can't quite get it down.
Beautiful.
Now, flexibility is a very, very important part of gymnastics, and so Paul wants to display that to everyone now.
I tell you, he's worked that beam from one end to the other, Peter. Beautiful. Paul Hunt. What a magnificent comedy routine. Beautifully done. He's out of Murray, Utah. And of considerable gymnastic skill to be able to pull off.
I went down to give an exhibition in Sydney, Australia, and Paul went down with me, and we were the 2 gymnasts invited to give the show. And he just wowed the crowd down there as much as he did here. They just loved it.
Here's Igor Korobchinsky from the Ukraine. He's back in the United States for a second visit. Says he likes everything. Likes the style of life over here. Floor exercise.
He's one of their new top talents. This is the first we've seen of him today. It was a front flip step out, round off back handspring, double tuck. Not a very difficult mount. He can do a lot harder at times. But he just wants to put together a good crowd pleaser here. And look at this. These are flares right up to a handstand, back down into flares. And then he turns the other way, a spindle flare. Extremely difficult. Boy, they love that.
You know, it says his favorite event, Peter, is the pommel horse, and that was almost a pommel horse routine with no horse under him.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, of course, that skill was first done on pommel horse. And he does the flare on pommel horse as good as anyone in the world. That's a pike straddle side 1 3/4 dive roll.
Big elevation. He was really up in the air on that.
Way up there. You've got to be.
He's 18, Igor Korobchinsky.
He's got a good future ahead of him. Here's his dismount, a round off back handspring, double tuck dismount.
From the Soviet Union, Igor Korobchinsky, 18 years old. With a very fine crowd-pleasing floor exercise. Watch it again.
Okay, now this flare sequence is really exciting. This is a flare, first in an international competition by Kurt Thomas of the USA, but he goes up to a handstand, to a straddle pirouette, and he drops his leg right back down and continues on with the flare. But then he starts turning in the opposite direction. It's just incredible.
Push to the limit, speed, difficulty, control. Words to describe one of the world's best. Here is the Soviet Union's Yelena Shevchenko.
And here's your giant sequence. Straddles up to the high bar. Most of the skills, as I said lately, have been done on that top bar, just like the men would do on horizontal bar. Double back dismount. Good routine.
Yelena Shevchenko. Another member of the Soviet gymnastics team coming up, Alexei Tinkoki. He's a young man from Siberia.
When he returned this past week, he had learned our language in just 1 year.
Speaks English. You saw him on the floor exercises earlier, and now he'll work on the parallel bars.
Alexei Tinkoki.
From Siberia.
He must spend a lot of time in the gym out from the cold, though, because he's a great gymnast. Beautiful front toss. Good, beautiful straight body line. Nice stutz. Peach to a straddle cut to an L. Here's his press to a handstand.
My information, Peter, says that he was the first guy to do a round-off entry. The move was disallowed because it was thought to be too dangerous. Is that correct?
That's right. We will see the girls in vaulting do what we call a round-off entry vault. And they do a round-off onto the board, facing backwards, and do a skill off the horse. We'll describe that later. He did that in men's gymnastics. But the vault is set up in a different way so that you vault the long ways. And so to place your hands is very difficult. And they said, that's just too dangerous. We're going to ban that. And so they have for now. And so as a result, they're going to change the configuration of the horse. In a few years, we're going to have a completely different piece of apparatus.
That's Alexei Tinkoki from Russia, from Siberia. We go to Hope Spivey now, member of the United States gymnastics team. She's 16, lives in Allentown, Pennsylvania, originally from Suffolk, Virginia. Floor exercise, Hope Spivey.
Now, we have certain gymnastics programs that have consistently put out some top gymnasts in the women's area, and the Scats, of course, in Huntington Beach is strong. Don Peters coaches there. We have Bella Caroli's club in Houston, and Hope comes from a club called the Parkettes in Allentown, Pennsylvania, that has put just time after time they've put top girls on our national team. Hope's a very strong gymnast. This is a round-off back handspring, full twisting double back.
Again, the lift on that, Peter's amazing.
Oh, it is. Here's tumbling off her knees. boundless energy. Here's a round off back handspring double back. She's a real hopeful for 1988. Has a great chance of making the team.
She's 16 years of age and has been in gymnastics for 8 years.